the god of hellfire, and I bring you fire. I'll take you to burn.
On the morning of the 16th of October 1987, my old boss woke up in a hotel where he was attending a management training meeting. He showered, shaved, and headed downstairs for breakfast. Now, this was in the pre-mobile phone age, so he did what we all used to do. He went to reception to see if he'd received any messages. The receptionist said no, he hadn't, but informed him that a branch had fallen on his car during the night. Untroubled, my boss went off to enjoy a full English breakfast on company expenses before going out to check on his company car. Turns out the branch was in fact an entire tree that had been brought down in the devastating storm that hit the south of England back in October 1987, and his navy blue company Ford Sierra now stood roughly 2 feet tall. I was reminded of the hotel receptionist's underselling of the situation while I was watching the TV news last night. Whether or not you believe the whole global warming thing, this is not the global warming that we have all been sold. Sure, we've all heard about the melting of the polar ice caps, of rising sea levels and potentially freak weather conditions, but I don't remember anyone mentioning the fact that the country would spontaneously catch fire. A lot. Yesterday's multi-fire outbreak highlighted the fact that as a nation we are ill-prepared to deal with fires on this scale. It was much like our annual response to a downfall of snow. Too little and too late. Now, while yesterday's fires were exceptional, they should also serve as a warning. This, apparently, is a sign of things to come, a foreboding glimpse of a hellish future. Obviously, the government, assuming we can assemble one at some point, needs to pump some serious cash into our fire service. And of course, it needs to refocus and double down upon the global warming crisis. As private individuals, we need to be more aware of the consequences of our actions. Outdoor barbecues and discarded cigarettes need to be a thing of the past. But as an industry, we also need to be aware of the potential risks. There was a fire on some scaffolding at the Hinkley Point seaside yesterday. Thankfully, there were no injuries reported. The fire was quickly contained and an investigation into the cause is now underway. But regardless of the cause, we certainly cannot take a fire at a nuclear power station lightly. And even if we're not talking about huge sites and the threat to a nuclear facility, just think about the makeup of a modern demolition or construction site. I'm sure we all saw how quickly and easily fire spread from house to house in London, Kent and Essex yesterday. Imagine that on a demolition or construction site where there are piles of potentially flammable materials, highly flammable fuels and lubricants, and equipment containing huge quantities of diesel and oil. Domestic fires and site fires happen all the time, regardless of the impact of global warming. But if yesterday really was a sign of things to come, then as a nation, as a society, and as an industry, we need to be prepared.